Peace. This is Star with the Star Blooms. I just wanted to come in and touch bases with y'all. Um, I've been having people say that my sound is like bad, so I'm gonna try to speak up. I'm ordering. Uh, I'm ordering microphones and stuff to like make my sound be better. But I hope that this works. I wasn't going to come on and share, but I did want to touch bases, y'all. I'm naturally hermited. I'm naturally like to myself, and it's not for nothing. I don't believe um I'm extroverted and introverted. So it's nothing like that. It's just sometimes I've been needing to digest uh and integrate and what it is that I'm embodying and how I'm showing up in it before I share it lately. I used to just share it as I was in it because I felt like, okay, we're all on the journey while in the journey. And a lot of that is true, but there's a big portion of us who are in different rates than others are. And when we start sharing, sometimes people can't find placement. It's beneficial because once people get to that point, they always have it as a reference, and you were always being authentic. So I'm happy that I did, pour out from a pure place and I wasn't just like wounded, cut, bleeding on people. However, more intentional now with my pour, and also ensuring that my cup is full. You know, maintenance is necessary in development. So there's been many rates of growth with us in the collective. A lot of people are coming online. A lot of people are, learning the level of integrity in which they've operated in, how they've been, you know, disciplined in what they feel like they've been destined for, how they've contributed to the spaces that they're desiring for. See, a lot of the times we'll call, spirit, call our spirit teams, our ancestors, our angels, our guides, the Most High, to cause. We'll call them to judgment. We'll cast out, our, I got told this in elementary school, your, how did he say it? Your urgency isn't my procrastination, right? See, a lot of the times we'll show up in spirit in so-called desperation, wondering why our manifest isn't manifesting. And we don't recognize a lot of the times that even how we're pronouncing what it is that we're calling into action, a lot of the times comes off in a plea, in a beg, in a bargain. And when you know who you are, you don't do those type of things. You don't have to, it addresses so much. It addresses the community of and the rate of people who feel like, casting spells and conjuring up things to force people in predicaments and positions. Like, you'll recognize when you really, really get in tune with self, you will pour way more energy into self because you'll recognize and recompense is something that's going to come from within. My retribution is something that's going to be poured back over me. My bliss is going to be like the vital oil substance that is the lubricant that allows me to be in ease and flow. It is what actually harnesses my vessel, and it's always going to come back to me first because I'm the one who put in the work. And a lot of the times, everything that we're doing as we're in survival mode is always to get the group, get the team, get the support, get the validation, get the community, get the relationship, get the love. And spirit has been working with us on getting right with self, getting in awareness with self, having key values, having core code supplemented in who it is that you are at a rate within yourself. And it's so true because if my desire at this rate is the so-called, WW3, okay, has come, and it's not the physical rate that's going to be the amplified space that's going to be the vested space, that's going to be the attack, that's going to be the nucleus. It's the mind, it's the body, it's the parasites, it's the not being pure and clean, it's the not allowing the blood to flow, it's the coagulation of the blood. Like, if you start to recognize where the target is, and then you recognize how, as a people, family, we've been initiated, how we're being integrated within spaces, how we're even being called within spaces. A lot of the things that we've been in the ask for hasn't always been in the reputation of who it is that we are. So when we wake up to these new rates to ourselves, not because it's something that we truly became, but it's something that we've shooken off in order to be. I remember who I am based off of who I've always been in the rate of being. However, sometimes I showed up in the desire of wanting to petition for the opportunity to become. And I didn't know that I had a right to be. I didn't know that it was a vested, a vested interest in who it is that I was and who it is that I was meant for. So I continue to take on trends, traits, algorithms. I continue to try to pick up trades. And a lot of the times, y'all, we convince ourselves in all of these steps that we're taking because we convince the anxiety and the angst that we feel and the uneasiness that we feel in not being settled within, right? Not being grounded within. We feel the need to accommodate those spaces. I used to feel ideas and mindsets and thought processes with this characteristic trait of babbling, right? And sometimes people will say this about Gemini energy because we have such a great way of communicating. We're so good at it. However, in a upside down state, you don't have the seating, the standing within yourself. You're not firm on your foundation. So what you may believe is whimsical, what you may believe is assertiveness, what you may believe is free spirited, you may actually just be prisoning and coveting conditions that you were giving. You may be, I said prison, but like imprisoned by your thought processes, imprisoned by insecurities and emotions that you haven't mastered, imprisoned by conditions that you've continued to show up participating in. A lot of us have been in a rate to where we've had a great shaking. We've experienced a ridding of foreign substance, and in doing so, people done got bored, so they start picking back up things. And what you'll know is that once spirit comes in and they help you in ridding yourself of things that you've been asking for, spirit, I ask that you remove any and all things that are no longer in alignment. Some of us have said this prayer so many times that we don't recognize how invested spirit is in our peace. So then we start to fight and go into battle and combat with ourselves based off of where it is that we find ourselves to be with our physical environment. Oh, I call these things within. I petition for these things within, and now my world without shows me things that look like towers and distress. And you start to recognize that I've been misrepresenting what's actually occurring with me, and the need to be able to be at a rate to where I continue 939, where I continue to show up with a new say, a new speech, a new story for the newness of who it is that I allow myself to remember that I am. I hope that this allows you all to be at a different rate to how you perceive and what it is that you're going through. You might not necessarily notice how much you are pushing away what it is that you're calling in based off of your fear of being what it is that you know you've always been, because you recognize that you don't really have to become it. And that's a true understanding, a true overstanding of what you previously understood, right? It's a word that we could focus on, spirit. Give me one if it's necessary. I don't think it is. Yeah. Oh, spirit said, let's focus on pleasure and playfulness. Allow yourself to be in the rate of truthfulness. Celebrate where you need to celebrate at, release where you need to release at, but allow yourself to be in pleasure, 939 again, and playfulness. Okay? It's a new rate. Get new eyes for what it is that you know that you are destined for. and allow the truth to be what it is. Okay. I love y'all. I hope that this message helps. I hope it finds you where you need it to be found. Like, comment, share, and